Hi, welcome to this edition of Top of Mind. Today I just want to reflect on one of the big changes we're seeing in our industry. In particular, shifting from CAPEX to OPEX orientation in a lot of companies. What I mean by that is shifting away from heavy spend on infrastructure, but using pure play infrastructure providers. They've got deep skills, deep expertise, but massive market share in that space. For a lot of companies, this means a fundamental shift to how you operate to a much leaner model and really focusing on true customer interactivity, whether that be B2B or B2C or B2B2C. That is an important focus that enables companies to be more nimble and act and behave more like a startup in some respects, or enable them to act like a conglomerate with economies of scale without actually an investment in infrastructure. This is a fundamental shift given our region and the growth potential here. One of the things we hope to see in the new year is a shift in ASEAN as a whole to actually embrace this, particularly as infrastructure and the location of infrastructure is quite critical to a lot of companies. That location is being driven by laws and regulations which don't necessarily make sense and don't necessarily contribute to economies. What ultimately contributes to an economy is the ability for a company to grow. And it's that ability to sell into the marketplace and work in the marketplace. And that's more around OPEX and CAPEX. That's my top of mind for this week. I'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday season and I look forward to seeing you in the new year. Thank you.
I was privileged to take part in a panel session as part of Singapore FinTech Festival, involving a number of exciting businesses, including Yes Bank from India and Tom Helm from the Department for International Trade in the UK, talking about the way that FinTech and innovative FinTech players are growing across borders around the world. There's never been a more interesting time, exciting time for FinTech companies to be looking for international growth expansion, and there's definitely a hunger among the financial services sector and incumbents in that sector to have a dialogue with those high growth companies. The governments here in Singapore and in the UK and other jurisdictions around the world are highly supportive of that dialogue, and it's fantastic to see how that conversation is maturing over time. PwC's own research in the innovation space through the Innovation Benchmark report demonstrates just how strong that push towards innovation has become. Indeed, 58% of the respondents, these are big global corporations, over 1,200 of them involved in innovation, have come from the technology sector. And those companies are focused on breakthrough innovations where we're finding brand new products, brand new services and applications being developed and being pushed into those markets. Whether you're an investor, a government agency, a global corporation, or a startup, there's never been a more exciting time to engage in this discussion. And for me, over the next year, for PwC as a whole, it's really going to be an interesting time as we see that expansion, that growth of those exciting companies coming through. Thank you.
So top of mind for me today is not TMT, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas everyone. And Christmas for many people means presents, and these days presents often means e-commerce. Now, e-commerce in Singapore remains very nascent, but I think we have already now reached the end of e-commerce 1.0. E-commerce 1.0 is about access to a big product range, cheap prices, and decent enough delivery, but that's no longer sufficient to compete now. E-commerce 2.0 is about much more. It's about membership of a club. Now, this is very topical with Amazon Prime having launched in Singapore just in the last few days. There's much more of an ecosystem around what Alibaba is doing with Lazada and its other properties. And that does bring us back to media. There'll be much more TV rights acquired by the e-commerce giants, using TV not as a way to monetize on its own, but to get eyeballs, get traction, give these membership perks that they'll then make use of for their broader e-commerce engine. So that's great for consumers, but it will make it even harder for the TV incumbents to compete into 2018. Merry Christmas.